This next video is to review the associative property of multiplication and the commutative property of multiplication. The associative property of multiplication states that changing the grouping of the factors in a multiplication statement does not change the product. So for any numbers a, b, and c, a times b, if we put that in parentheses first, multiplied by c, would equal the same thing as if we did a multiplied by b, or excuse me, a multiplied by, in parentheses, b times c. So remember that when we have parentheses, that tells us that we need to do that first. So for instance, it says, look at the example of the associative property of multiplication. There they have 2 times 3 in parentheses multiplied by 3. So 2 times 3 is in parentheses, so that means that we have to do that first. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. You can see that here. And then 6 times 3 would then be 18. On the other side, parentheses tell us to do 3 multiplied by 3 first, and that equals 9. If you can get past my covering up the 9 there. So 2 multiplied by 9 would then equal 18. So the products are the same even though the grouping was different. Whereas the commutative property of multiplication, it states that changing the order of 2 or more factors does not change the product. So changing the order of 2 more factors does not change the product. So for example, 3 times 5 equals 5 times 3. And you could use more than 2 factors. So if you had 2 times 4 times 3, it'd be the same as if, let's say, I did 3 times 2 times 4. So just by the order, we would do 2 multiplied by 4 first. That's 8 times 3. On this side, we do 3 multiplied by 2 first, which is 6 times 4. And in our basic facts, we know that 8 times 3 is 24, and that's equal to 6 times 4, which equals 24. Okay? So changing the order for the commutative property doesn't affect the product, just like changing the grouping of a multiplication sentence doesn't affect the product. So let's do another associative property example, just so we really have that one down. So, for example, if I have 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4, and let's say I group 2 multiplied by 3 and do that first. Okay, that's going to equal, same order, 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 4. If I group 3 times 4 instead, it's going to equal the same thing. So take a look here. 2 times 3, do that first, is 6 times 4. I have to do that yet. That's going to be equal to 2 multiplied by whatever 3 times 4 is, and 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So now we have 6 times 4 equals 2 times 12. Both those statements are true. 6 times 4 is 24, and 2 times 12 is 24. So those two statements are true. So the associative property, we changed the grouping of the factors. That didn't affect the product. The commutative property, again, we changed the order of the factors, and that didn't affect the product either. So, a review of associative and commutative properties of multiplication. Thanks for watching.